You to the Rex City and Poland.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is Redcast Podcast, episode 12.
Woo!
Season 3. Season 3.
Season
Oof.
3.
But no fun fact for this week, but we do have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Like, for instance, Frieren's about to end, right?
Yeah.
Next time we do one of these, we'll be doing an after talk, basically, post-mortem. I mean, did you guys expect to like this show this much?
No, honestly. I expected it to be like, oh, what a nice show. I expected it to hurt me more, actually.
Yeah,
More.
because people were warning us that it was going to be like a type of sad.
Yes, this is
which
not the type of sad that I usually,
we had it mostly in the beginning, first couple episodes.
of like the loss that she couldn't enjoy it at the time.
Yeah.
She didn't appreciate it.
I suppose more people felt the loss when we'd have the flashbacks, because we do have quite a few flashbacks, but I don't feel lost. I feel excitement or happy memories, kind of like Frieren is experiencing.
Yeah.
She's like, that was fun times.
I will say, episode 1 is way sadder if you watch it again now.
Yes, 100%.
Because there's just so much loss that you feel for her, knowing what she goes through going forward, looking back.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Maybe that's why people are like, it's so sad.
Especially people watching reactions, right?
That's true.
Experience from the first episode, even though it was sad a little, and I was more expectantly hopeful, but I never expected it to be as engaging. Like, even as we continue to watch it, I'm not sure why I'm so captivated, and that's why we've been like talking about it. Is it the air of the show? Is it the music? Is it the personalities, the monotone voices? You know, kind of like just with the juxtaposition of what's going on. Like, is it just her quiet strength? Like, what is it about this show that's making us just love it so much? I don't know if I've fully decided what it is yet, but.
Yeah. It's for me, it's like, it's part of what I think makes me like this show so much is because it doesn't tell you how amazing this world is, where a lot of animes will be like, whoa, look at that thing. Or it's just showing you the world, and the world itself is impressive.
Yes, through the experiences, and then as people kind of mention things that have happened, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get a feeling watching this show of something I thought I would get watching the show that you've recommended before about this girl on like a motorcycle.
Oh,
like
Kino's Beautiful World. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it the same feeling?
It kind of has the same feeling where you're just experiencing this world that's just very cool and interesting, and it also like lets go of the interesting thing because it's like just a normal thing that you're just passing by, but like to me as the viewer, like, what the heck is that? This bike talks. What the heck is that? You know?
Yeah, I love that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Never got around to watching that show, but maybe that'll make it on a poll one day.
It's a fun experience. Yeah.
It's a series or movie?
Series.
Quite a popular one.
How old is it?
Fairly recent.
Not too old. No.
I want to say like 6 years.
Yeah, within 6 years, I think.
We also have a solid date for Oshinoko, July 3rd. So less than 1 month away now.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh, what day is that?
I don't know, but I'm going to say Tuesday.
Oh my gosh, no, almost. It's the Wednesday.
It's like, he's right. No.
He's right, but he's wrong.
But close enough to being right. Alright, so Wednesday show.
That's a good day.
Yeah, that's actually a good day.
Yeah,
Yes.
good recording day.
I don't mind that. So, Oshinoko, we enjoyed the first season. Second season is going to be doing a lot at the theater, I believe. We talked about the last time.
Oh, right,
to go to the
they're-
theater place.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're doing,
La La La.
I think it actually is La La La.
La La. Okay.
Yeah, the production
Yeah, their
company.
company.
Yeah. Good job.
Wow.
Yeah, and also I was just gonna say the filming of the show that all three of them are gonna be on is gonna be at that. Is it there, or is it just with the people from there?
Well, they built a special theater to show the production that La 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 made.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they own the building necessarily. No, they don't, because we saw an argument between the head of La La La, or rather an agency, the model agency guy, talking with the director, and they're butting heads about how they're going to do things in this area.
Yes. But the other thing that you mentioned, I don't know if you're about to say it. There is the first episode's coming out in movie theaters.
Yes. It was supposed to be a 50-minute feature film, pretty much. I think in theaters the Friday before Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, and it's the first episode, not just
First
a
episode.
movie.
I think it's just the first episode from what people say.
Good, because I don't want anybody else taking after Demon Slayer.
Just to like do the whole season in one shot.
Or just even the first 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that kind of thing, but I understand why they do it. It's probably immensely profitable.
Of course.
But at the same time, dude, the amount of effort to just make a movie version of this thing, and then, all right, good job, guys, now do it again, lower quality, faster, now.
Lower quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steins Gate.
I've been pleasantly surprised by Steins Gate. Like, usually it's like one of those, it started out as one of those and I'm like, I guess I'm watching this now. You know, I wasn't exactly excited about it, but now I'm getting interested and I'm getting excited about it. I'm like, ooh, I get to theorize all of the theories.
Huge theory show.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was excited from the get-go. I'm like, I'm so confused.
Do more confused, please.
But I have to say, in terms of the voices, I don't think I would have. I think I would have struggled with the switch because remember you showed us the clip of the "but he's a dude."
Yes.
It was okay, but I don't think it was as funny as in the Japanese. And maybe I don't know. I liked it better in the Japanese, especially when I went back and I was listening. I didn't actually edit the first episode, but I heard it over somewhere. I don't know why. And I liked how he said it in the Japanese, and it could just be because I'm used to his voice already in the Japanese.
There's a possibility.
Yeah, I won't like make a definitive statement that I won't like it, but I think the switch would have made it hard. If we had just started in the dub and then maybe I heard the sub a little after, it may not have been an issue. But I say that to say I am very much enjoying his voice modulation.
Yes.
This actor, this voice actor is like chef's kiss.
Yes.
Like especially with the last episode, his argument with Mikase, and he's going on with you're the pervert because of your thoughts, and then he's calling her Christina, and she's like, I dub you Christina. What are we saying now? So funny, yeah.
Well,
So
you sabotage, you be.
yeah. I love it. He's doing a great job. So actually, it makes me interested to hear how they pulled it off in the dub.
Yes.
Yeah, if they did as well. But I'm guessing they must have if you enjoyed it so much.
Very well.
Yeah.
The vocal humor in general just makes me always. It's one of those things. Like I remember in Promised Neverland, I was thinking, why don't more animes make use of the angles like this? It's so effective.
Yeah.
The vocal humor is so easy to do, yet it's so funny. But I haven't really seen that in a whole lot of animes.
Yeah.
You know, they just deliver the lines.
You know, I wonder if it's because of because this is something I noticed with him. Sometimes I don't realize it's him talking. Does that ever happen?
No.
That happened once when he was talking the same time Daru was in the room.
Yeah, Daru, I'm starting to get used to their voice differences now, but like sometimes I'm like, wait, is it him? I can't tell. And that's one of the problems with anime, is kind of like the thing with the outfits and the hairstyles. They do that because the art is so similar from character to character. They have to keep the same hairstyle and outfit so you know it is, you know who it is.
Yes.
So I think it's a similar thing with the voices. There's a certain type of voice they like in anime. So if you have to kind of stick to your timbre, stick to your voice so that you can be differentiated from the next one. But the thing with this show is everybody's voice is very particular, you know? So it's like you can't mix up Maishi with Makise, for instance. Or even
Christina, just call her Christina.
or even Amane. Amane's voice is kind of this little light voice too, but she sounds a lot more normal compared to Mayushi, right?
Yeah.
So you can differentiate them. So there's room for playing with the voice for Hoin Kyoma.
It's funny you're talking about distinctive voices, but another problem that they do, which in a lot of shows you know how they do the whole no character should have the same first letter as another character in books or whatever.
Yes.
In this show, that everyone has 3 different names.
Yes, like what the heck? Oh my gosh,
It's true.
Okabe, Okari, Hoin. Like oh my gosh.
Daru, super hacker. Probably could think of a whole lot of them, but Yeah, so if you guys wanted the dub or the sub, I'm sorry about that. I know either way it's going to disappoint someone. That happened with Code Geass.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the sub. Some people wanted us to watch the dub. A lot of people were arguing with those people who don't watch the dub. So it's one of those toss-up things. Though, is if we did do the English version, it'd be very hard to give subtitles to like our Japanese viewers, who I know do enjoy that, because Crunchyroll, for us at least, they don't offer subtitles if you go to the English version of anything. It's only ever just English. Oh, you're good? Okay, then you don't need subtitles. So, that's how it is. So, I mean, yeah. I don't know if that helps or not, but that's the thing.
No.
But we have subtitle issues in general with the show, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
For some reason, it will at random just desync,
Yes,
and then it will catch up and fix itself.
really badly, and it's always during the worst time
Worst
when
time.
somebody's
need
like
it.
bantering,
Yes.
and they're going really quick, and I'm like, what's going on?
For the last episode, it was with the food thing.
Yeah, that whole scene was just messed up because of that.
Yeah.
Even I was rewatching it, and even the recording that we had, most of it was fine until like the important part where the switch was like, huh, what did you do? And I still don't know to this day like what happened. I know he gave her what she wanted. That's all I know. But it's really interesting that it's happening for just this show. So I don't understand if it's just because it's an old show.
I think it's that.
It's just because it's old.
I think it's both old, and at the time, Crunchyroll was much greener.
Then the other thing that I noticed is the desyncing. It wasn't the same, so it's like it just happens real time desyncing. You know, it's not like it's recorded or what is it, like burnt into the video.
Yeah, so I think it's just depreciated. It's
Something
such
with
an
their system.
old show for the site, and just like it's dying now, but we're not gonna fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's watching?
Maybe there is a way to fix it, but it really does seem like a side problem, which side problems we usually don't have an issue with because it's usually live shows if there's a side problem. Like Disney Plus, for some reason, is also having subtitle issues with Kogo Loser Ranger.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Occasionally it will like do the scene transition, and it's like it's switching to
spinning
another
wheels.
track,
Yeah.
and then it will just not have the subtitles, and we have to leave and go back in to fix it.
Last time you barely realized it, you're like, you're just still watching the show. Where like, it's not there.
I saw subtitles. I'm telling you. I saw subtitles.
You know what's funny? When it was happening, I felt myself like slow realization. It's
Same.
like,
I'm like, it's
I am
not
not understanding.
there.
I think it took us like a solid 3 seconds before anybody said anything.
Hang on. Something's wrong here.
Yeah, when you were calling me, I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Like, what's wrong? Everything's fine.
But speaking of Gogo Loser Ranger, someone pointed something out that I thought was kind of topical for us. From Sabanti, who was saying, "Dude, I'm enjoying this show so much. I've heard some people complaining about it being a bit too fast paced, but I'm honestly loving it. They go for a full throttle, and they trust that you're going to be able to catch up with the nuances they're showing without having to explicitly tell you or give you long-winded scenes that will just slow down the momentum." So, I mean, we've talked about that in detail with like shows like Demon Slayer.
It's
cuts the fat.
beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes.
Something is lost. I do think so.
Of course.
It's setting up the scenes, setting up the backstories, letting the scenes sink in. Like we just saw Ghost in the Shell, and we're talking about how they just sit on shots for 20 seconds. Just look at that cityscape. And sometimes it's not even a super detailed scene, but just look at it so that you're immersed.
Yes.
Demon Slayer could never be me. You know? These are just moves.
Yes. But you know what's all that's gonna happen is it's kind of like the history of the world. You know, we're gonna swing real hard in one direction.
Yep.
In this direction, and then it's gonna get so extreme until people are like, I hate it.
Like, I don't
and
know
then the
anything.
next person's gonna come back and go all the way to the other extreme, and then we're like, beauty, this has never been done before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But then by the time we get around to that part, it'll be interesting and fun, and we'll enjoy it too. Like right now, this is what we're enjoying. So
It's like dots with stripes, you know? Wearing polka dots with stripes. Oh no, the stripes is
vertical?
People say, oh yeah, the vertical. They used to say the vertical stripes slim you, and then at some point people were like, no, the horizontal stripes slim you. What? And then now it's going back to like
Vertical again?
vertical stripes slim you. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I know I never cared which one slimmed me. I liked horizontal.
Yeah, I
and
know you like-
wore it to death.
Yes. Still do.
Logically, this doesn't make any sense that horizontal would slim you. right?
I think it just. I don't know. I never heard that they said the horizontal slimmed you. I just know it got back into style.
I remember getting it style.
Yeah, people just started wearing it more because at first people were like, "Oh, fat! I look fat," and now this, and then they stopped caring, and now they care again.
Oh, so that's why it rises back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I would say Gogolu's Ranger doesn't do it as well as Demon Slayer, the whole pacing thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are some times that I'm thinking, wow, we just moved past that, you know?
Yes.
Whereas in Demon Slayer, I don't think I've ever had that feeling. It felt like it was a natural progression for everything.
Yes.
And it felt like where a lot of other shows would have a moment of reflection or slow down in that scene, you don't have to have that, like if we're thinking realistically. So it makes sense that they just keep moving. Whereas in Gogolu's Ranger, there's sometimes I'm thinking, you didn't stop and think about that?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, we completely missed in the moment. I think we all eventually understood what happened. But when the blue guy who got murdered by Petrola, who was talking to...
Yeah, when he
XX.
punched his face.
Yeah, Fighter D knew that the guy was in the closet. But when we're watching the episode, yeah, he even talks about it. When he's on the bed, it's like, I don't remember exactly what he says, but he said that was difficult to clean up. He says something very quick about that. But so he's the one who cleaned the room
it up
and put the body in the closet. But we didn't catch that, and I didn't say anything after I saw it in the edit because I think everyone was gone at that point in time. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that. Any other show would have had way more internal monologue thinking about that situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's not like a huge criticism, but I think that's something that Demon Slayer there would have been a bit more talking about that, or if they did move past it, it would have been to get to the fight, so that there is a reasonable expectation for why we didn't talk about this.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. I guess it's a little different, but it also doesn't tell the audience every time there's a mistake. For instance, like when he got punched in the face and he was just rolling with the punches in that scene. The comments were saying, no, he didn't mean to reveal that he's a duster to that guy in that moment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he doesn't acknowledge that. He doesn't have internal monologue acknowledging that. He just moves on.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's both a strength and I guess, I don't know if I'd call it a weakness. It's just expectation from other animes would be, there'll be some internal monologue there.
Yes.
You know? But in this, in a realistic situation, if you're quick on your feet, you do just roll with that.
Yes.
Use the intimidation factors to keep him like locked in.
Yeah.
So okay, that makes sense that he did that, but it's also a little bit weird.
You know why it's weird? Because Fighter D has not shown a propensity of thinking on his feet for like he's been accident prone and like being the one to step into dog poop, not really one to okay, this is what we're doing now. It's kind of he's growing to be that.
Yes.
But they've not made it obvious. We've just
Yes.
kind of figured that out.
I think, yeah. We
So
just
I
kind
think
of,
that's the thing.
Picked it up.
Yes, we're picking it up, and maybe they're just not doing a good job at portraying that that's what they're trying to do on purpose, and we're just like, did they mean to like tell us that kind of thing? That's how it feels.
Yes.
And like Sabine was saying, it trusts the audience sometimes.
I think he's also not the type of person to internal monologue about, hey, I'm becoming smarter. You know, he's not going to do that, and we don't have anybody else to do it for us. Yeah. Normally, we have someone else to like, for instance, what is the show? Ninja Kamui.
Yeah.
It was so obvious when it happened. I was like, oh, okay, that's why you're here. When Zai was saying, oh my gosh, he's actually faster now. His senses are all even higher. They're higher than high. I'm like,
very aware of that.
Are you just telling us so we know that?
Yes.
That's the point of his monologue, where he doesn't talk any other time except now he's just really talkative in his head.
Yes.
You know, so and we are in his head for some reason. Another question. So I feel like that's part of the problem. Like we don't have anybody to tell us what's going on, so we're just kind of left to figure it out ourselves.
Yes.
And the author's probably like, well, that's your problem.
Yes.
You know, speaking of Ninja Kamui, I didn't actually write it down because I forgot, but we finished Ninja Kamui.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we did.
Technically, they don't know because we watched it ahead.
Yes, but by the time this goes up, they should see the final episode up, so it should be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that show finished, and it's one of the shows of all time.
Yes. It is.
It is a show of all
It is a show.
It started out it didn't start out with 10 out of 10 potential.
No.
Yes.
It's-
We knew it was gonna be a John Wick, shoot 'em up,
Absolutely.
action-packed revenge story.
Yeah, but it didn't even make John Wick level.
No, but I expected it to be a 7 out of 10 anime, 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10 action anime.
Action, because an action anime is different expectations from a regular anime.
True.
Yes. Like Demon Slayer, I consider Demon Slayer like an action anime, really. It's got a good story,
Yes.
but I don't think of it as a story anime.
The only reason I consider Demon Slayer different is because I have way more emotional connection.
Yeah.
In an action movie, I'm just
there.
punch somebody.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I go into Demon Slayer thinking of it as an action movie that's so exceptional, it also does the emotional parts well.
Okay.
So that's why I consider it really highly. Because previously I've talked about how there are some story elements missing or some distinctions missing in between, like the Hashira, for instance. Like all their attacks are essentially the same, just different colors and different explanations for it.
Yes.
But I hold it to a different standard because I don't consider it something like Death Note.
Yes.
I don't need this plot to be ultra intricate.
Yes.
But hey, maybe I'm wrong. But because I think of it as an action show, when it does those things even moderately well,
Yes.
I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know. Whereas, so when I translate that over to Kinja Kamui and holding to an action show standard, and then the action falls off,
Yes.
and then the story was never deep and it was never trying to be deep, it plummets on my list.
Yeah.
You know, because we were fairly harsh. No, we weren't harsh. We gave it fairly low ratings. I don't know if you guys have seen the ratings by now, but I mean, I was toying with a D. And maybe I did give it a D. I think maybe I was jokingly saying a D by the end, but
Yeah.
the more I thought about it, the more I was like, maybe I should have given it a D.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
It got worse as you thought about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's one of those things that if it had stuck the landing, it would have gotten a much better grade.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It really
it's
would
just
have.
that it didn't end well. It looked like they're like, and get out of my studio.
Like you
And
saw the
never come
producers talking to the crew.
Never
Get
come
out.
back. Yeah, basically that's how it felt, honestly. And I was trying to think. I think it was it. Yeah, I was thinking of how it aged as well, and it aged as not really being there. It's just like you guys keep saying, it's the best. It's like the movie of all time. It really is.
It's like it has nothing special about it.
There's no aftertaste.
Substance.
There's no
Yes.
aftertaste.
Yes.
I just like, oh yeah, we did watch Ninja Kamui. Yeah, that was a thing. I mean, I was editing it and I did not
like I
feel like
had
I
no
needed to finish editing it. Yeah.
You didn't feel like that.
I know, because you're kind of on the roll of the show. You want to
Yeah.
get into the details
You
and
get a
see.
little bit invested
Like,
in
yeah.
the show again.
Like with editing Stein, like I'm editing Stein now. And I'm looking forward to like finding out what the heck happened in that scene. I need to know, so I'd be sad if I didn't get to finish the editing for it. But like Ninja, I'm like, yeah, you can take it. So so it's unfortunate because it was pretty, and I think it was the guy. It was the one with
Passion project.
It was a passion project for the JKK, right?
JJK.
JJK guy.
Yeah.
JJK.
Joke,
Yeah.
joke.
So I feel bad because I don't know if it's a passion project. Maybe he doesn't feel bad. Maybe he's just like, it was just a throw off. They let me do it. I have money now. But
Plot twist, it was self-funded.
no.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you're gonna do something that everyone's done before, ninjas do something interesting, and then they try to do something interesting with the mech suits, which is just not it.
Which I feel like, for me personally, I feel like I've seen them try to do ninjas but not ninjas a lot.
Yes.
Like whenever I'm watching anime, they try to do ninjas, but
Something
for
mystical.
some reason they're wearing like sparring gear as like their tactical whatever, and I'm like, this is not it.
Like
Why are
Kendo?
you so padded?
Like Kendo armor.
Not like kendo, like they're wearing. You remember the headgear we used to wear for sparring? They're
Yeah.
wearing something like that. And I'm like, that's
Yes.
not it.
In actual combat?
Yes, like that's their go out and do ninja things outfit. And I'm like, you're not ninja. You gotta ninja.
It has a certain feel to it.
Yes, like they get rid of the ninja feel of ninja, and they're like, we're quiet, and like that's not the only part. That's not the only part.
Well, let's brainstorm right
There's the
now.
vibe.
Brainstorm right now. What is something that would make ninjas unique?
Very first couple episodes with the whole shadow techniques and stuff. That was very interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because
By the way, that never came back.
Never came back.
His
Yes.
arms never came back.
No,
out of his
and
back.
shall we talk about the double eye that never showed up
They
again?
never did a thing.
that was just bait.
That's what I'm telling you. They were kicking them out of the studio. They were like, you can't do that part. I'm sorry, you have no time. Be done.
The arms also, in hindsight, they looked like shadows first episode.
And then they
fleshy
were
the second,
arms.
and then they were never again.
Never again.
Yeah, it's like this. whole series was one train of thought that kept revising itself as it went on, and also forgot about the other things it thought about beforehand.
That's the passion project part. That's
I think
the
you're
passion.
actually right.
That makes sense. That makes sense. He just like sat one day and done. Make it.
Make it.
I want to say it has so much potential, but I mean, we all knew what to expect.
Yeah, it was just a vengeance show. Like even the intro, like when I finally started hearing the words, it's like there was no substance. It was just like, I'm gonna make you pay for what you did. Okay.
From the beginning, it was like, wow, okay. But,
I couldn't hear what they were saying until like the second to last episode.
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the fact that, you know, they're supposed to be ninja, right?
Yep.
And then they dress in neon lights,
Yes.
bright colors, and like the biggest hats I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
What was the point of that?
I'm like, it went from we're ninjas to they're just not ninjas. The ninjas, the whole thing are we're in the shadows. Mm-hmm. You can never tell we were there.
Right.
And then like buildings be exploding
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. And I even preferred the cop. What is it like?
Morris.
No.
No.
The
The FBI guy?
no. SWAT team look.
SWAT team.
The look of the ninja outfits, the SWAT
Yeah,
outfits.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't like them at first,
Same.
but after the mech suits, I was like,
I
can we go back
appreciate
there? Can we go back to
appreciate
that one?
Yes.
With the 3 eyes.
Yeah.
And the skeleton underneath. I like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they didn't never explain that
The
either.
skeleton.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, actually.
Because they never talks about like a secret project. Sorry about that, I didn't catch it. But yeah, the skeleton suits. What the hell?
Yeah, they just give us a glimpse. They rip the helmet off, and there's a skeleton face underneath. No explanation. I was expecting some
Deep thing.
mention, some alluding
Yeah.
to, you know, after what's her name, Emma, people got inspired to like rip their faces off so that they could have whatever face, whatever.
Right.
But no,
Oh my gosh.
That would have been
I was
so
just-
good.
that would have been so
I was
good.
assuming, okay, this is a bunch of rogue ninja that we caught, and we did this to make them loyal. Ripping their faces off.
their own faces
the
off.
ultimate. It's basically the guy Hanase from Rurouni Kenshin. I don't know his name. The guy from Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, I know
who-
the guy,
Yeah.
Mr. Stripes.
Yeah, so it's
Pena.
kind of basically that guy. Like, just do it to everybody. We can
Yes.
make any face we want.
And, you know, honestly, I feel like with modern makeup, they didn't need to go that far. But yeah. They could have done a lot of things.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, just keep the fighting good. Even if they did the mech suits, they didn't need to be that slow. Put the video on 3 times speed if you have to.
Yes.
But just that clunkiness that CG brings is very hard to overcome. So when you're doing these fighters are versatile, they're fast, they're precise. You don't want clunkiness.
No.
The
Yes.
clunkiness can work for some things like actual mech shows.
Yeah,
Actual mechs.
because big things are slow.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. And even if they look slow, they're actually going fast.
And if they look awkward, yeah, they'd be awkward in real life.
Yes.
So even if it's sometimes visually not working, it can work. Look at Akito the Exile.
Yes.
Some of those things looked alien. Like remember the horse guy when we first saw him running in?
Yes.
And the music playing, we were like, what the hell is that? The CG worked for that show.
Yes.
And admittedly, that was like a movie level quality 6-episode series, so you can't really like pick that from everybody. But they knew what it was.
Yes.
So I feel like to bring it to a show like this, you gotta know what you're doing. And it felt like a budget problem to me, honestly. So
I feel like there's still, like, as you point out, with Akira the Exile and 86, because way they pulled off those mechanical, units, and how they made them look fast and agile.
Yes.
Come on, you could have done that with the suits. Like, I can imagine, like, even you do the CG scene and what you just said, like, take sections where they're striking and just 3 times it. And just, like, put some blur on it. Like, I'm sure there's a way to make it look like they're going faster. They looked like they were like, even though it wasn't that slow, that's how it felt when you, in retrospect, you know? Because it didn't feel like ninjas. It felt like they downgraded.
it did feel like a downgrade.
Yes.
And that seems to be the general sentiment as the show went on. I think if this show, 12 episodes wouldn't have saved it. If they did 10 episodes, they could have still gotten everything they wanted to do in and maybe squeezed in some better action scenes. But 6 to 8. 6 to 8, and I think it could have been something actually decent.
Yes.
Again, no one was expecting any amazing deep lore or whatever.
It was stick
But
the landing with
they
the
made
action.
it worse. Because we talked about this with 86. I did not have 86 as an A tier show until the last 5 episodes. Those last 5 episodes matter. The ending matters a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you start off at a 7 and then you crash at the end, you're gonna be a 3 for me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Stick the landing.
Yeah, stick the landing. What do you think they could have done to actually stick the landing? Because I think like if they had done something where either Emma survived or turns out Ren did survive, then now they have like something to actually live for instead of being like wanderers or whatever, it would have inspired me more.
Switch the fights. Couple things. Switch the fights. The more interesting emotional fight was with Zai.
Yes.
Not with Yamaji.
Yes.
Because I didn't even see the connection from... The only connection was that Yamaji caused Mari's death. Mari and the kid's death. But, like, what's his name? Higen. Higen and Yamaji didn't have that kind of, like... I didn't feel Higen's hate, even though he kept going, Yamaji, Yamaji. Like,
yes.
I didn't feel the hate, honestly. I felt more connection with Zai.
Yes.
And that was because of the history they kept flowing back to. If they had thrown back to some more moments with Higen, like, butting heads with Yamaji and his ideals at some point, or some connection between his growth there and Yamaji, we only see Zai and Yamaji together.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. Number 2, the breaking of the suits should have happened in the last fight, and we see the real ninja fighting at the end, because that's what's cool is the ninja's raw body ability, not a suit enhancing anything.
Yes.
So have the crazy thing going on with earlier, and in the suits, Yamaji gone, and then Zai is still holding on to his, no, I'm a part of the system, blah, blah, blah. And they do the fight, break suits, and then fight to the last emotional end. That would have been so much more epic, and Zai turning around would have been so much more epic.
Yes.
Like the way Zai turned around, like, oh, don't stab, you're fine, we love you. Okay,
Yeah. That was
I'm fine now.
Yes.
Years of trauma deleted.
Yeah, because like if it happened during the fight, it would have felt like while they were fighting, Zai was having an emotional fight too. It would make more sense.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, don't do that, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, even his breakdown at the end where he's like staring at the sky and having memories, that would have felt more useful than in the middle of Higen's moment.
Yeah.
That future was the unlock keyword. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it didn't hit.
I feel like the ending is near impossible to stick from a story perspective for me personally, but I feel like fighting wise it could have been stuck because that's all I wanted out of this show. So if they just focused more on the combats, that would have done way better, and it would have at least given it a C. Which I guess I did give it a C in the end, right? But maybe it could have gotten a B if they kept the consistency of the fighting. Or maybe made the fight, like make Dilly's fight even longer, because we didn't even get to see Dilly's fight.
Yeah.
They kind of jumped around and it's over. So I mean, if they focus on that part of it, and I understand they see, maybe I'm wrong, but it really did seem like a budget issue where they just stopped showing the cool hand-to-hand combat scenes anymore. But if they did show that stuff, I feel like it would have helped a lot in the long run. And also, Zai, I feel like should have performed better in the fights. I agree with you. Swapping the fights around probably would have helped a lot. Maybe deal with Yamaji beforehand, and then we've got Zai, who's like the future of the ninja, because he's now the de facto leader, and so now we have to deal with him.
That would have been perfect.
And if he could change Zai, then maybe things could be different, because they also introduce all those other ninjas start taking out the robots at the end of the movie.
But like at the same time, Higen is saying the ninja are dead. Like
Yeah.
the ninja are done
Where the
now.
hell are those
I'm like,
guys?
yeah.
Even Yamaji thought there was only Higen left.
Yeah.
So who are those guys?
Yeah.
Because they got the master's mask thing, so I guess there was other techniques and hidden
Zai's
ways.
master's mask.
Zai's
yeah.
mask. And so I guess there was other places out there that we just never talked about.
Yeah,
which kind of makes sense to me, because like ninjas, if they would have disagreed with Yamaji, they would have gone to the shadows.
Yeah, and
Kinda makes
started
sense.
their own thing too.
Yes, but then Higen is like, I'ma leave the ninja behind because there's no ninjas. Ignore that. Ignore that. There's nothing there. Turn the lights on. There's no shadows. It's fine. And then, it just.
But here's the thing. All that, Zai just performs better. End the show on a good Zai fight. And I think it would have helped a lot, because the way they talked about Zai in the first couple episodes doesn't make sense into how he acts in the last few episodes for me. They refer to him as the Reaper, where he's their friend Zai.
Yes.
So they're talking about him like he would be able to kill them with almost ease if
Yes.
it came down to it.
Yeah.
Not that there wasn't much to worry about,
Yeah.
but Zai should have been more of a threat.
He really should have been, especially since Higgin has not been ninja-ing for like the past 10 years or something.
No, and Zai seems like he's insanely dedicated to this thing. He's
Yeah.
probably,
Yes.
not probably, that was all he was doing.
Yep.
Yes.
Practicing and training and murdering people.
Yep. They're meditating on doing it too. This show was prime for Talk No Jutsu,
It was
It
prime.
really was.
and we barely had any.
Didn't even mention the horizons at the end. I was really disappointed about that. I'll be honest.
the
I was expecting
horizons.
somebody to say something about the horizon.
Yeah, they brought it up like twice or 3 times before.
It's like, show me new horizons. No.
Yeah,
We're
he's
just
on
gonna
his
forget
own.
about Higgin left him again.
Zai,
Yeah.
wait here.
Wait here.
No, that's the sequel, Zai's Vengeance.
Zai's vengeance.
Again.
Again. Zai's
First time,
vengeance
he
again.
lost his eye. Second time, he lost his arm. This guy just keeps leaving him.
Oh my gosh.
Which I guess that might be a spoiler, actually. But, guys, you guys didn't watch the reactions anyway, I'll be honest.
Nobody watched it. Nobody watched it. Nobody cared.
Except for Ryan Thor.
Right.
Ryan Thor. Thanks, Ryan Thor. Oh
I'm proud of that we finished the show.
Yeah.
That's a testament. Hey, if we start a season, we finish the season. Unless something like unbelievably bad happens, we finish the seasons
Yes.
every single time. Even, for instance, what was it?
To Eternity?
To Your Eternity.
The second one.
Second
no.
season.
Second one, we
should
were
have started second season.
slogging through season
We
2.
really were.
We enjoyed it, but
No, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. I
Tolerated
don't
it?
regret being able to say that I watched it.
oh,
Okay. I did not enjoy it, but
Wow.
it was hard. Like
wait,
there
you
was,
didn't not enjoy it, or you did not enjoy it?
I didn't not enjoy it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but I do remember there was like we like hit a desert
Yes.
Yeah.
mentally.
Yes.
It took forever to get through that desert
Oh my
to get
gosh.
to the plot, because I remember for like 10 episodes nothing was happening.
Yeah, we were just I'm like, what's the point? Why do we need to see this?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, no one was really watching it because they had to jump through hoops to watch it because of NHK. Remember the
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
yes.
Oh my
So that
gosh.
made it hard too.
So I mean, yeah, we had no real way of knowing if anyone's watching these things we're uploading, but we finished it.
We finished.
But that
So once
also,
we get past our 3 episode rule, because we just recently started that, like we're gonna watch the first 3 episodes. If we don't like it,
oh yeah,
we'll drop it. So, but once we get past there, if we keep going, we can keep going.
and also that show is the reason why we started the whole we finished the season, not the series.
Not the series, yeah.
Because before To Your Eternity, we were like, we started the series, we'll finish the series.
Yeah.
Now it's like, some things are just not worth it. I'll
not
finish the
worth the
season
pain.
for the people who are watching it with us.
Yes.
Because I have seen a lot of other reaction channels
They
where
just stop.
before we start the channel, I'd watch it with someone, and like, it's a smaller channel. And so you enjoy watching with this new set of eyes, but because it's a smaller channel, they can't afford to just keep staying on these shows all the
No,
time.
that aren't working.
So I understand, especially when you're trying to grind up, which we're trying to grind as well. But I understand if you're just, especially on your own, a lot of them were solar reactors, they can't afford to just spend all their time on this one thing that's giving them no return. So I
Yeah.
get why they dropped it, but it is very disappointing when you're like one of the 50 people that kept watching
Yeah.
and you wanted to keep seeing the episodes. It feels like, okay, well, I guess it didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I get it. But that's why we try to finish the stuff we start.
Yes.
This extra is brought to you by comments I read from King of Heroes. So we were talking in general about villains and how some of them are like black and white, and how some of them have a bit of intrigue to them. And so he was talking about this. He's saying this convo reminds me about how some people complain about the way villains are written. Option 1, if a villain is completely evil, people complain the villain has no depth. In option 2, if a villain has good motivation, people will complain the villain is just a misunderstood guy and not truly evil. But there are rare cases where a villain is truly evil and has depth. For instance, Griffith from Berserk or Mahito from JJK. And yeah, I to that I think it's mostly just the setting really matters.
Yes.
I think that's where the protagonist comes in, because the protagonist and the villain, they kind of bounce off each other.
Yeah.
Yes. I also think that if you're writing a villain, it's important to let the villain kind of direct how this is gonna go. Because like if you write a motivation for the villain, you can't write the motivation for the villain hoping that it's gonna feel justified what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just like you have the motivation, and if it justifies his actions a little bit, it just does. instead of being like, see, he's not that bad. He's not a bad person. He's just doing bad things, you know. Where you kind of just shove it in people's face like that. I think that's where it goes wrong. Whereas like Mahito, we can understand Mahito is bad just from his motivation is because I wanna, and he just wanted what he wanna.
Yeah.
You know, it's not trying to tell us he's truly bad. Like he's bad. It's just an understood thing.
I think related to that, the way I think of it is when the show feels like it's trying to, like, I think that's what you're trying to say. When the show feels like it's trying to tell us something.
Tell us the conclusion of what it is.
Right. It's like the show is telling us what to think.
Yes.
Versus the show tells us who this is,
yes.
and then you decide what to think. I think that's when it works better. So for Mahito, I don't feel like the writer was telling me to think a certain way about Mahito.
Yes.
We just developed a natural hatred for him, you know?
Yes.
Versus, I'm trying to think, good one is Demon Slayer. They're always making us feel for the villain, right? And I feel like the way they tell the story, they add the music, the lighting, the tears, and the, oh, is that me? And then it's like, it's leading. It's a very leading description and presentation of their past.
Yes.
To make, there's no objectivity about it. Like, I want you can tell, I want you to feel sad for this person.
Yes.
So it's like, in that situation, it could make or break the villain.
Yeah.
In that situation, you'll have the arguments of, well, now he's too nice, I can't hate him, you know?
But I like with Demon Slayer, the way it does it is like, we can still come to the conclusion, like, you had a reason for doing this and you still need to die. Like, both of those things can both exist at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it comes to our own common sense conclusion that we have to deal with this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that plays into the setting because Demon Slayer in general has the air of a tragedy.
Yeah.
This whole world is just a tragedy
Yes.
spawning from the big bad Muzan.
Yeah.
So even when there's a moment of like, I feel bad for you, there's still a person behind to hate as well. Because you need someone to objectively hate in a world where such evil happens.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do that to the people who are in themselves kind of victims. So it's easier to spin them for the victim narrative when they're about to die, when you have Muzan mad there. So that's why we can feel for them at the very end.
Yes.
The only person who is just outright evil with no redeeming qualities whatsoever is Muzan himself.
Yes.
And we don't know much about Muzan.
That's what I was gonna say. They haven't told as much about him. A little bit.
He was sick.
Yeah.
And then he bad.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Even in his backstory, it showed that he just seemed evil. Like, he seemed mean and cynical about the world from that age. So it's, even then, they're not trying to exactly paint a pretty picture of him.
Yeah, because even with the demons, like, when they have a bad backstory, there's something that kind of pushes them.
Yeah, there's some redeeming quality.
There's something pushing them to the darkness.
Yeah.
Muzan, there wasn't really anything that we could see.
Nah, people were taking care of him.
Maybe there is something, but they just don't show
They
us
didn't
yet.
show us, yeah.
So the only thing I could think of that could turn this whole thing on its head is at the very end, but there's a big bad behind Muzan. And this,
The
like, he's
doctor.
like this.
The doctor.
Yeah, because there's a whole weird thing with the doctor.
Yes.
That was creepy.
Yes.
I like the way they introduced that. So this doctor just comes out of nowhere. He helps him. It's like an old fairy tale, which it is because he's from that era.
He is.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, so that movie's up. Ghost in the Shell is a pretty heady movie. If you're interested in that kind of thing, we have some thoughts on it. You can check it out up on Patreon right now. If you're interested, I know if you're seeing this 2 weeks ahead, you can see that right now. Patreon is a little bit weird where it's a little hard to make sure that you guys know when some of these things are out because you can only
Yes.
pin one thing.
Yes.
But the movie is out. Check that out in the collections if you're interested in that kind of thing. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the city. Goodbye.
Bye.